welcome back to Unconditional Surrender, Case Blue. We have just finished the Axis first turn, and now we are starting the Soviets' response to the actions that the German army has done in deep into the Soviet Union. The German Panzer unit, which is in low supply, is of course the main prey for this turn. I could do normal attacks from the 37th Army or the 12th Army, or I could bring down the 9th Army to engage the Panzer. I think that another option is of course to do an assault with either one of these armies and adding on the other two so that all three armies would go in assault. If I do that, then I would tie up a lot of armies to this attack, and that may not be the best thing. I think this is a very good example of the strategic decisions you're facing in the game. How many units to commit to this attack, which type of attack, and which unit. Yeah, I think just a normal attack will do. And I'm going to bring down the 9th Army. I'm going to pay 1 production point to activate the 9th Army. The Russians have 12 points when we start, and now they are down to 11. So I'm moving the 9th down here to 29.55. So I'm taking a unit in a clear hex. That's 1 for clear hex and 1 for attacking. That's 2 more. So now I need to show you something. The German Panzer has no retreat options whatsoever. He is completely surrounded by Russian units, and there is no friendly unit or a friendly city adjacent. So this unit is what we consider isolated. Now we just roll the die and see what happens. There is no way I can get any support. Ooh, right. My roll is 5-2. This do not look good for the Germans. So now we need to remember that the Russians are the attacker and the Germans are the defender. So the Germans get 2 for being German, and they get 2 for being Panzer. They get -2 because they have low supplies. So attacking an isolated unit gives the attacker a +2 modifier. So that gives us a defender retreat. Now because the defender cannot retreat, he will have to be reduced. Alright, poor Germans, they are now reduced. It will be annihilated because now we're going to pay 2 more points and attack again. Okay, interesting. The roll is 5-5. Oh, let's see. Attacker and defender. Germans get 2 for being Germans and 2 for being a Panzer. They get -2 for low supplies. And they get -2 because they are reduced, so that puts them right back down to 5. And the Russians get +2 for attacking an isolated unit. No effect. I have enough for 1 more attack. Let's roll again. Oh, no, I think it's... Well, the Russians... Okay, so... Yeah, the Germans are rolling quite well. But they can't roll better than that, of course, and you see the same procedure: +2 for Germans, +2 for Panzer, -2 for low supply, -2 for being reduced, and the Germans get a +2 for attacking a isolated unit. No effect. The German Panzer survived. Wow, that's amazing. Yes, they will pay 1 point to activate the 37th. Even though it's reduced, it's going to attack. Again, a good roll for the Axis player. Germans stay put because they get +4 and -4. +2 for being German, +2 for being a Panzer, -2 for being reduced, -2 for being in low supply. And the Germans, the Soviets or the Soviets get +2 for attacking an isolated unit. No effect. Okay, so in my eager to attack, I forgot to mention that when I activate a low or no supply unit, I only get 4 points of activation, 4 points of movement, and I used 2 of them to attack the Panzer. So I only have 2 activation points left, or 2 movement points left for this unit, for the 37th Army. Okay, so the last 2 points now down to 0, and we are attacking again. Amazing roll. I don't think they can do it now either, so it should be like this. No effect. Wow, the Germans are proving to be very tough. 37th Army is finished with this activation. Okay, then it's the 12th Army's turn to try to take out the Panzers. It's going to be across this river, but at least it's a full strength unit, so it will get 8 points. Now the Soviets are down to 9 production. Now you don't save up production points between rounds, so you just there's no point not using all your points if you can, so use them or lose them. Yeah. Attacking into a clear across a river. We'll take them down to 5. 1 for the clear, 1 for attacking, 1 across the river. Attacker 3, defender 3. So Germans are getting 2 for being Germans, 2 for being tanks, -2 for being reduced, -2 for having low supply. The Russians are getting +2 for attacking an isolated unit, but they are attacking across a river, so they will get -1. Oh, so that's a no effect. That's a diamond, no effect. So I'm just going to take the movement points down with 3. So they will have 2 left, and we will attack again. Perhaps I should start to show the rolls. That's some good defending there from the Germans. So the negative and positive modifier for the Germans equals out. The Russians, again, +2 isolation, -1 for attacking across the river. And that is also no effect. I think with 2 movement points left, there's not really much the 12th can do, but they can try to attack the 17th just to use the last 2 points, because the 17 are out in the open, so that should only cost 2 points. So let's do that and attack the 17th with the remaining 2 points. Oh, 3-3. So let's work out the modifiers. Oh, switch them around, of course. The Soviets are the attacker, and now there is no positive modifier for the Soviets because this unit have everything it needs in terms of supply, and it's not reduced. And the Germans, they do get 2 for being Germans, so they have 5, and that's it. And now we get attacker stopped, which doesn't really matter because it was the last action points or movement points anyway. With that, the 12th is spent also. I think they're going to spend the remaining 9 production points on refitting and on mobilization. So now we need to check for supply for the Soviet player, and you can see that everything he has is in supply, or is it? This guy, he is tracking supplies to this railroad. So, and it goes off here, so that's fine. He is in supply, he is in supply. The 9 tracks down here and off the map, so that's one is in supply. The 37th can't go there for supplies because that's an enemy solo control for the 1st Panzer, but it can track it back here. This one also go back, and this one, well, he is on the railroad line, so it will just go here. Yeah, and the 4th, but the 12th here, I can't see that the 12th are in supply because Rostov is an enemy zone of control of the 17th. But actually, the 12th can track its supply line through Rostov and onto these railroads because Rostov is a friendly city. So the zone of control from the 17th doesn't count in Rostov for this purpose of tracking supplies. Okay, so everything is in supply. So the sequence of play flow chart tells us that we have been through the operations phase, supply check subphase. So we finished here. So what follows now are just some phases where we do, basically we do maintenance. We do replacement phase, meaning we are strengthening up reduced units. We are go to the upgrade phase where we can upgrade units if you have some upgrades available. And then finally it's the mobilization phase. After that it's just a simple victory check and the end of turn phase. Well, there is actually a phase called a no supply phase where we have to reduce units that are out of supplies, but everything is in supply, so we disregard that. We disregard that now. The replacement phase, the Germans or the Axis player will always go first, and of course he is going to try to refit the German first Panzer. Let's have a quick look on the production chart. So by luck, the Germans have 2 production points left, and if we look at the production cost, we see that it costs 2 points to turn over a reduced mobile ground unit to its full strength size. So we're going to just do that and take the 2 points here and upgrade or refitting the Panzer, the first Panzer. That I can assure you was not by good planning, but just by luck. So that Panzer unit is back to full strength and still a thorn in the side of the Soviets. Perhaps the Soviets just need to fall back, perhaps I've been too aggressive. Well, we'll see. So the Soviets had 9 production points left. I'm going to track it with the dice so I don't have to switch back and forth with the camera. For upgrading, so the Axis players are finished with its replacements phase, and now the Soviet player goes, and he will pay 1 point to refit the 37th Army. Then he will pay 3 points to take away 2 sorties from the 3rd Air Fleet, so they can fly again. 5 points left. Up here I'm going to pay 2 points to refit the 5th Tank Army, and I'm going to pay 2 more points to refit the 1st Tank Army, which is in Stalingrad. That would leave me with 1 point of production left. I'm also just going to reset all the units so that they are unspent. So we finished with the replacement phase. We are now in the upgrade phase. And in the upgrade box we can see that the Soviets have 1 unit. It's the 1st Guards. The Axis, they don't have an upgrade box even in this scenario, so they don't have any units there. Star means they are elite units. U means that they're upgrade units. So they come into play from the upgrade box. Yeah, and they have wheels on their infantry, meaning they are mobile infantry, so they will have 10 activation points instead of 8, but they will fight as an infantry. Actually, they will fight as an elite infantry. So the scenario instructions tells us that we can upgrade any infantry unit with the available guard units, and it doesn't cost any production point. I'm going to upgrade the 51st here in Rostov to guards, elite guards. That's what I'm going to do. I'm afraid that if I upgrade one of these units here, the Panzer will just roll over them next turn, and also they will maybe now looked upon as an offensive threat to the 17th Army. Okay, that's the upgrade phase, and now we're in the mobilization phase. In the mobilization phase is where you take units from the mobilization box and you can buy them back onto the battle map or the map. The Germans don't have any units in the mobilization box, so they can't buy anything, of course. The Soviet player has an air unit, and they also have an infantry. Buying an air unit is expensive. That costs 3 points. I want to show you the mobilization rules down here, or the cost. Basically, it will cost 1 point to buy a reduced leg ground unit, But if you are the Soviet player, then you can buy a full strength unit for the cost of 1. That will normally cost 2. Now, luckily the Soviets have 1 point left. I'm spending the last point, and I'm buying the 62nd from the mobilization box, and I'm going to put it on the map. So the Soviets can recruit along the map edges to the north, south, or east. That is not a hex, faded hex with a dot, like this one. Means that they can come into play along the border here in any hex, or this hex here, or down by Volga, in Astrakhan, or in any friendly city. So it can enter play. Yeah, I have to observe the stacking limits, of course, and the stacking limit says that I can only have 1 ground unit in any city at any given time. So I can't have 2 units here nor here. I could stack them together with my air force, but there's no city there, so I can't. So I have to come into play in an empty city or by the edges of the map. So I'm going to take the 67th and put them in play right here. The red line here depicts an exception to the north edge map rule for the Soviet player, so they can't. It says that you can't mobilize here as a Soviet player, but I can mobilize here. So I'm getting the 67th into play here, so it's ready to face the threat in the north. Then we check for victory, and there is no victory yet. Then we go to the end of turn phase. In the end of turn phase we do 2 things. We will move the turn marker down to August 1942, and this tank event that was available in August 1942 now becomes available. We put it directly in the event box of the Soviet player. So the other thing we do is that we will follow this arrow here saying end of turn phase. We will put the eliminated unit down in the mobilization box, so they are ready to be mobilized next round. We do the same for the German player. Actually, we do that first, but there are no units there, so it doesn't matter. And that, ladies and gentlemen, round 1 of Unconditional Surrender Case Blue. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in August 1942 around the Sea of Azov deep in the Soviet Union. See you soon.